Good evening, I'm Dave Karger. Welcome to Turner Classic Movies. If you were with me here on TCM last Monday, we kicked off a 3-night spotlight on Art Deco in the movies, programmed by Art Deco historian and collector John Thomas. Tonight we continue with a lineup of musicals from the 1930s that feature dazzling examples of Art Deco sets and designs. Up first is a landmark movie musical that went a long way toward elevating and reinventing the genre. From Warner Brothers in 1933, it's 42nd Street. This classic backstage story follows a desperate Broadway director as he attempts to stage what could be his last production. At the time Warner Brothers produced 42nd Street, moviegoers had nearly had their fill of musicals. The genre had only recently become possible with the advent of talking pictures, and in the late 1920s and early 30s, Hollywood churned out so many musicals that the market became oversaturated. But 42nd Street turned out to be something completely new and original, thanks to the spectacular innovations introduced by the film's choreographer, Busby Berkeley. Berkeley came to Hollywood after an early career in the theater and as a drill instructor during World War I, where he was given the task of staging and conducting parade drills. He knew how to keep large groups of people focused and working hard, and he understood spectacle. For this film, Warner Brothers gave Berkeley full creative license, and he created extravagant moving sets and synchronized dance numbers that stunned audiences and gave them a much-needed escape at the height of the Depression. One of the most striking examples, as you'll see, is the 42nd Street number, in which Busby Berkeley managed to use a chorus full of dancers to create the New York City skyline, complete with plenty of Art Deco skyscrapers. From 1933, directed by Lloyd Bacon, with a cast that includes Warner Baxter, Bebe Daniels, George Brent, Dick Powell, Ginger Rogers, and Ruby Keeler in her film debut, 42nd Street. "42nd Street" was directed by Lloyd Bacon, but it was Busby Berkeley's work as the film's dance director that made this musical stand out. Berkeley not only staged the production numbers, but also designed many of the sets for them. He brought a scale to the movie musical that was bigger than anything Hollywood had ever seen. 42nd Street became a landmark film that turned the tide of the movie musical and helped establish Warner Brothers as the leading producer of musicals during the Depression era. The film earned an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, and although Busby Berkeley had worked on several productions already, this movie introduced him as Hollywood's mad genius of musical production numbers. Berkeley later said, "A lot of people used to believe I was crazy, but I can truthfully say one thing, I gave him a show." Up next is another Warner Brothers musical from 1933 that reunited many of the key players from 42nd Street, along with James Cagney and Joan Blondell.
Next on TCM, Footlight Parade, then Gold Diggers of 1933, and later, Broadway Melody of 1938. Hop in the TCM time machine tonight.